Hi folks, Cynthia Deeren here. Great to be with you this morning. Now I want to talk today about why you should start your international expansion with market research. And when you're getting ready to expand your company overseas, it can be really tempting to skip the market research and just get down to it. Now, I understand this. Spending lots of time going around the internet looking for statistics, reading reports during your weekend, it's all a little bit lacking in glamour. Even investing time in traveling to a new country just to check it out might seem like a whole lot of effort for not much return. Frankly, for a lot of people, it's more exciting to jump in and just start selling rather than do all that prep work. But the thing is, the investment into market research before you start selling internationally is worth it. I'm even going to go out on a limb here and say that it'll reward you tenfold. Now, I want to give you a few reasons to support that claim. Here are 7 of them. Firstly, research helps you narrow down your focus into certain areas. We often hear executives and business people talking in really general terms about overseas markets. So they say things like, oh, we're shifting our focus to Asia, or oh, we'd like to double our growth in Europe. But you know, that's a real oversimplification, and that's really problematic. So if you ask people what they mean by Europe, you're going to get a whole range of answers. You know, is it Western Europe? Is it the Eurozone? What is it exactly? So starting your research on the places that you could go will really help you to focus on where you should go. Second reason, you'll get a good feeling for the market if you do your research before you start selling there. Now, it seems really trite to say this, but if you don't research countries before you start selling to them or working in them, then you really don't have a clear idea of what you're getting into. And research, whether it's qualitative, whether it's quantitative, whether it's in person, it all helps you to understand the dynamics of the market and assess that market for its size and its potential for growth. Now, thirdly, there's this thing around product fit. So when you do your research, you can be sure that your product's going to fit and that people are going to pay for it. Lots of companies have a product or a service that sells well at home, and they often assume that, you know, the appeal in international markets is going to be just the same, and that underserved international market will be a big bonanza, which doesn't need much of an investment in sales and marketing. Now, that's just plain wrong. And the painful lesson that a lot of companies learn at great cost is that their product or service just doesn't fit the market, or even more commonly, that the pricing that they've got in mind is way out of line with what the clients are willing to pay. So if you do adequate objective market research, that can really help to avoid those pitfalls. Then there is this really important point about identifying the competition. So if you start selling without market research, you won't know what kind of competition you're up against and whether you can actually compete with them. It's important that you identify major competitors in the marketplace, including local producers or local service providers, as well as major international competitors. Once you've done that, you can then go on to work out what strategies your competitors are using and how you can beat them. Market research is also important because it reveals hidden costs. What do I mean by this? Well, failure to account for all the costs of operating in a new market can cripple an otherwise successful international expansion campaign. Local expenses might include higher taxes such as VAT, company registration, and setup fees. So for example, whereas setting up in a company in Australia costs around $385 US or $514 Australian, doing the same thing in a place like Dubai could set you back anywhere between US $7,000, which is 25,000 Emirati dirhams, and 16,000 US dollars, which is 60,000 Emirati dirhams, depending on how you do it. So if you have unaccounted for expenses, these can really deplete the anticipated profit margins which you've created based on your domestic sales and marketing models. And it's really, really crucial that you understand the true cost of doing business in a new market so that you can avoid dangerous miscalculations about the real financial opportunity available. 2 more points. Research reduces risk. Well, what can I say? Information's power. The more you know about where you are going and who you're selling to, the better you can plan and the fewer unforeseen risks there will be. And lastly, research gives you confidence. Knowing more about the new country that you plan to operate in or sell to will increase your confidence because you'll be more familiar with it. So before you start selling, go forth and research. Thanks, folks. Have a great day.